I went out shooting a vintage 1958 Barnack Leica. Let's see how it performed. I went out into the snow to use a vintage Barnack Leica. There are more details on the camera in part 1 of this video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link on the screen right now. If you have seen that video already, you'll know why I think this is such an important camera. Look, I'm desperate to enjoy this shoot. I love this camera. I want it to perform. I admit that. I'll cut it so much slack I might trip over. And I'll try my hardest not to be gushing, but I can't promise. And it isn't just a nostalgic nod to history, because as we all know, nostalgia is not what it used to be. This is a camera that changed the rules. Well, to be precise, it chewed up, spat out, and then rewrote the rules. Not easy for me to say. And the rules that it rewrote went pretty much unchanged until the digital revolution almost 100 years later. So this little camera has, I think, earned our respect. That said, I will hold my hands up and I'm going to say, I know there are armies of Leica enthusiasts who know more about these lovely cameras than I ever will. I know that. There are channels dedicated to the brand, old and new, and there are aficionados of Barnacks that know every change, every day, every function, and to them I apologise. I'm no Leica expert, and my review is not a technical one, it's one based on experience of shooting a Barnack. My review is just about what it's like. So, out in the snow, let's go see how it performs. One of the things that you'll notice, the first thing that I do when I'm taking a picture with this is to take these off. Trying to focus with the rangefinder and then move over and compose with the viewfinder. With these on, when the viewfinder and rangefinder is that size, it's a nightmare. You might as well just take them off and be done with it. These are fantastic conditions to be up here in the snow testing out these old Leicas. And I mean, they're bulky old things. I mean, you know you've got a camera in your hand, there's no two ways about that. And they slow you down quite a lot. You can't really set the shutter speed until you've wound on. And so once you've done that, you've then got to do the range finder and get your focus set up. And then when you've done that, it's onto composition. So this isn't exactly fast photography. You really do need to slow down and think about what you're doing. Let's give it a go. Okay, the shoot's over and excitedly I got back and dev'd the film, and then the disappointment started, because this is a vintage camera and buyer beware. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a shutter problem, whether there are holes in the shutter. I don't know whether it's fungus in the lens. Maybe you guys can tell me that. I'm going to put some pictures up now, and what you'll notice is lights in the sky were stopped right the way down. Is it fungus in the lens? Is it light bouncing around in the lens? Is it a malfunction of the lens, or is it holes in the shutter? I mean, some of the images have got banding. If there are Leica enthusiasts out there that know exactly what this is, that would be absolutely brilliant. But not all the pictures, and that's the interesting thing. Maybe it was the ones where I wasn't stopped all the way down. I'm not sure, but we had these pictures, and I'm really pleased with how the Leica performed on half of the pictures. Let's have a look. Here's the first image, and it's one I particularly like. I love those vertical lines of the trees juxtaposed against the nature behind, and it's just coped really well. The Leica has picked up so much detail. Here's the picture of the tree that I was taking on the film earlier. It's coped so well. The Leica's coped so well with difficult lighting. There is a little bit of that lens flare, that problem in the middle, but it doesn't distract too much on this image. An end of the day picture with the sun going down over a frozen pond, and obviously I'm not stopped all the way down here, and I don't seem to have any of that problem with the light flaring, so probably something to do with fungus in the lens, I would think. I came across this bull in a field, and I really liked the fact that he was smart enough to know that there were two thawed out bits of grass there, look, and has managed to stand with his front and hind legs in both so he doesn't get cold feet. Isn't that great? And such a winter scene on this one. We've got the snow in the fields, and if you look off into the distance you can see the children sledging down the hill. It was really great, but look at how the camera's dealt with it. Look at the biting sharpness. I mean, that those people in the background are so clear and sharp, and yet they're such a long way away. The camera's ability to deal with complex lighting has actually gobsmacked me. I mean, I know it's down to exposure, and that's down to me. This is a manual exposure camera, but look at the detail, look at the way that it's coped with the light. And finally, my favourite feature from this little mini shoot here, you know, there's no HDR on this, there's no special trick. The camera is just doing a really great job of recording light, of recording tones, of shadows, of highlights. It's been a great shoot and a great camera. So why should people love these cameras so much? They're heavy. Not in their day, but compared to modern cameras now, yeah, they're heavy. They're fiddly. Maybe people were more dexterous in the old days. Maybe they had smaller fingers. Maybe we're so used to everything being made easy for us now that we've forgotten how to put a bit of effort in. Using one of these cameras is slow. Winding on, setting the speed, setting the aperture, taking a light reading, rangefinder focusing, everything that you've got to do even before thinking about composition and shooting. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe if we slow down a bit with our photography, maybe we might start to become more aware. Thing is, it's not the fastest, is it? It's not the sharpest or the easiest. But what it is a piece of mechanical history. A marvel, in fact. If you have a cell phone, take it out now, have a look, take a quick look. What time does it say? Because whatever time of day it is, that time has been sent to you via a satellite orbiting the Earth up there in the heavens somewhere. It knows exactly where you are on the planet within about a 4 metre square, and it is giving you the exact time for exactly where you are. Time couldn't be more precise. Why then do people still buy Rolex and Patek Philippe watches, some of which cost hundreds of thousands of pounds? They're not going to get as accurate a time as you get on your cell phone, so what's the point? Well, the point is this. What they have on their wrist is a piece of art, but also it's a machine. It doesn't rely on batteries or electronics to make it work. Instead, it has cogs and gears and wheels and springs, and is finely balanced to work in equilibrium. Each piece doing a precise job and totally reliant on every other single piece doing its precise job too. And that's the beauty. It's design, it's engineering, it's precision. It's a complicated piece of machinery that has been made to fit on your wrist, shrunk down. Every time you look at it, you get the time, but you're reminded of what a brilliant piece of engineering you have sitting right here on your wrist. The Barnack Leica is no different. Sure, digital technology makes wonderful cameras that can outperform your Barnack. But the Leica is engineering. It's like a Rolex. It's manual. It has no battery, no electronics, just cogs and wheels, gears and sprockets. It's a perfect, small machine, like a classic sports car. You use it for the joy of using it. You don't drive 70-year-old sports cars because it's the fastest car around, because it's the comfiest car around, or even because it's an easy car to drive. It isn't. You drive it for the experience of manual, the experience of simplicity, and the experience of history. The Barnack is the classic sports car of the photography world. And in another 100 years, will people be clutching their Sony A7s or Nikon D6s? I think not. They'll probably have stopped working years before. And if you can find a working model, then the technology will be so out of date. But I'll wager this. I'll wager that there'll still be Barnacks around, working, and that enthusiasts will still be enjoying shooting with them. 200 years of service from a camera. Now that's money well spent. I really enjoyed shooting with the Leica, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving me a subscribe. If you'd like to see a video about an alternative classic camera that isn't quite as expensive as a Leica, then check out this Voigtlander Vita B video. Or if you'd like to see a video about a great second-hand Nikon, check out this D3S video.